Greetings Acolytes, and welcome back to the channel. The title of Grandmaster was one that has been held by a great many Jedi all throughout history. It is a highly honorable title designated for a Jedi Master who has truly proven themselves wise enough in the ways of the light, along with many accomplishments in keeping the way of the Jedi. Although the High Council usually comes to decisions concerning the entire order by a democratic vote, the Grandmaster serves as a more presidential role, where they are the ones with the final say on most decisions. And when things get rough, they will assume emergency powers and make decisions that they believe will best suit the order. All in all, the Jedi Grandmaster is one who is responsible for leading their generation of knights, and in a way, they have a lot of power in directing the course of galactic history. But we notice something rather odd which begins right after the time of Luke Skywalker's new Jedi Order, which is that, because of Luke, the role of Grandmaster is forever changed. So join us today, my friends, as we dive into why after Luke died, only Skywalkers could become Jedi Grandmasters. What happened with the role of a Grandmaster is that it accidentally became a dynastic mantle by no fault of anyone. It was in fact a product of its time. After the death of Luke Skywalker, there is a period of time that we actually have little to no information on. All we know is that about 90 years after Luke's final adventure, the Jedi Order is left largely without a leader. Since we have no information on this era or who the Grandmaster was, and since the legacy material makes zero mention of one, we can only assume that there was no head of the Jedi Order after Luke's passing. By the time of the One Sith attack and their attack on the world of Ossus, the Order is being controlled by 4 members of the High Council: Master Trey Saw, Kakruk, Tilly Kwa, and Cole Skywalker. Cole, who was subsequently killed during the attack on the temple, leaving the full control of what's left of the Jedi Order in the hands of the remaining 3 Jedi Council members. Throughout the run of the Legacy comics, none of the 3 ever make any moves to assume full leadership, and not a single mention of the Grandmaster title is ever made in the whole series. But what is made known is the utmost importance of the Skywalker name. All of the council members agree that only a Skywalker would be able to rally the Jedi together as one, and it becomes very clear to us that the Skywalker name has become extremely important to the overall Jedi mythos by the time in this lore. In some respects, we might even say it's become something of a religious icon. Anakin was named the Chosen One, a being that had been foretold for tens of thousands of years. He was already a figure that was heavily anticipated by the Jedi before his arrival, and he would make his mark on the history. However, instead of raising the Jedi Order, he would actually wipe them off of the face of the galaxy. That was until his son Luke rose up and forced Anakin to fulfill his destiny. Luke would be responsible for the death of the Sith and abolish the tyrannical rule of the Empire. He then would go on to essentially accomplish what a Jedi Anakin may have done, which was to create an order of the most powerful Jedi in galactic history. An order remade to value love and family, and to be more integrated into the galaxy than ever before. This would be compounded by Luke inheriting Anakin's potential in the Force, and himself becoming one of the most powerful and accomplished Jedi Masters in history. He would go on to save the galaxy numerous times against a resurgent Empire, a resurrected Sidious, an extragalactic invasion, a second galactic civil war, and a crisis involving an entity far beyond the comprehension of even Force wielders with Abeloth. His family would sire a line of powerful children, and Luke himself would even achieve oneness with the Force. All of this isn't even counting the various other accomplishments he had during his tenure as the Grand Master. Once Luke had passed, his accomplishments were so great, and his leadership so revolutionary, that no other Jedi could have possibly lived up to that name and the title of Grand Master. Anyone taking his place would have been seen as inferior, and there was a possibility that the next generation of Jedi may have not respected their next leader. So far as we know, Cole Skywalker was the next Grand Master, but he never officially claimed the title. Instead, according to the story, Cole Skywalker worked his way through the ranks of the Jedi and earned his spot on the High Council. Later on, he would be voted in as the leader of the Council, but that is just it. He was only referred to as its leader, not using the term of Grand Master. In this way, the Grandmaster title was essentially retired with Luke Skywalker for good. Cole Skywalker would then be noted as making decisions on behalf of the Jedi to better the galaxy in the wake of the leftovers of the Vong War. Some of the Vong terraforming weapons had caused terrible diseases to break out among the galactic populations, and several Vong scientists who had renounced their warlike ways were willing to help. So Cole spearheaded this project of working with the Vong scientists to not only reverse the plague, but perhaps even broker peace between the Vong people and the rest of the galaxy. This is what Cole Skywalker dedicated his life to as a Jedi, working with the Galactic Alliance before he was ultimately killed by the Sith. But once the third Jedi Purge occurred, it scattered all the Jedi among the stars, forcing them all into hiding. A great many of them hid in a secret temple, and within this secret temple, they were led by the 3 High Council members that we mentioned earlier. But the rest of the Jedi were far too afraid to come out of hiding and rally against the one Sith and Darth Krayt. As such, the High Council firmly believed that it was going to take a symbol of hope and strength for the Jedi to get behind it. Something to give them courage, something to be led by. This symbol just happened to be the name Skywalker, a title synonymous with prosperity for the Jedi because of Luke. This responsibility now fell onto the estranged son of Cole, Cade Skywalker, as he was to fulfill the role as a Skywalker even though he didn't want to. A Skywalker being the savior of the Jedi. Cade's entire character arc revolves around his struggles with filling the massive shoes that his ancestors left behind in Luke, with everyone looking at him as a beacon of hope and light for the entire Jedi Order. Cade, though, is very similar to Anakin. He struggles with his calls towards the dark side, and the trauma that he suffered during the Third Purge. And so, by sheer happenstance, the Skywalkers essentially became the dynastic fulfillers of the Grandmaster role, and in a strange way, the actual title of Grandmaster was retired with Luke, forever cementing him as the truest Jedi Master, truest Jedi Grandmaster in history, the title hanging in the rafters of the Jedi Temple somewhere, as the title would be so daunting that in Legends continuity following Luke, no Jedi would ever claim it ever again. But was this the proper way of doing things? The name carries a lot of weight and significance, but as Cade Skywalker proved, perhaps not every Skywalker is going to want to step into this role. Perhaps somewhere down the line, they won't be qualified to. But what do you think? Should the Grandmaster role be reinstated with the same rules as before, with anyone able to earn the title of the Jedi Grandmaster? Or should it have been cemented with Luke and retired with his death? Should the Skywalkers continue to serve as the chosen family to lead the Jedi into enlightenment, into the Force, and into the future? Or are they simply just people, trying to do the best they can, like the rest of the Jedi among the Order? We would love to hear your thoughts and how Legacy Comics explores the title of Grandmaster and the importance of the Skywalker name after Luke. As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting the channel and the archives today. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and may the Force be with you always.